Just staring at OBS being like, just waiting for something to drop up. We dropped the bar. Starting a bit early, folks, because it was like, because I'm just waiting to see if the internet will drop when I try to stream. Maybe it gets it out of its system early. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. Seems like we are up and running, folks. Hello, Internet. How we doing? It's Endless and Destiny 2 tonight. I forgot to mention this yesterday. I forgot I uninstalled Destiny 2 until like Monday when I was like, I should probably boot up Destiny 2, make sure it's all good and whatnot. Open Steam. I don't have Destiny 2 installed. Oops. So, I had to have that installed this week, and I checked it this morning, and it was all running fine, so we'll see how things go. I can do that because the keyboard tray is actually wood. Before we do Zenless tonight, I wanted to slam through the highlights from the Game Awards. I don't know if this will have everything. I hope it has like a couple of things from the pre-show, because I know a couple of things on the pre-show. I was like, those look neat and cool. Can't wait for it to not. I do love it when they don't do it in order of it being shown. I love that. That's great. So yeah, the statue was Divinity. That was to no surprise for people who saw the trademark. I love that they tried to deny it, and then it was like, it's Divinity. Not Divinity 3, mind you, just Divinity. It also really reminded me of like the Diablo 4 trailer for its like, I think it's like its first expansion. Worst kept secret about Resident Evil Requiem is Leon Kennedy's there and he's playable. I watched it and I went, Leon is being Leon. Good. We aren't doing the whole thing we did with Chris, where he's just like, I might be a bad guy, except I'm not, and I'm just not going to tell you things because I'm being an asshole. And I'm like, oh, good. They just have Leon being Leon. Good. A couple of Tomb Raiders got announced. We've got a new one that is going to be a sequel to the original set of Tomb Raider games. I think this is technically a follow-up to like Underworld, I think was the last one of those. And then we get a remake of Tomb Raider 1 again. Okay. Control 2, dubbed Control Resident. not care. Galaxy got a trailer. Mega Man Dual Override, which looked neat. It was nice. I got gameplay. We're not seeing it until 2027. They are running a make your own Robot Master campaign, but they are giving you basically a skeleton to work off of. And they also are like, if you use generative AI at all and we find out, you're going to hell. We are putting you in the dumpster. Lego Batman trailer. Diablo 4 expansion. I didn't see much of the Street Fighter movie trailer, but it looks campy, and maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Hey, Double Spidey. We'll see how this turns out. Maybe it'll be good. They're doing the Star Wars. Technically, it's just a Star Wars racing game. Fair. Yeah, it's technically not a pod racing game, but it is a racing. It's not pod racing because there is no pod racers in here. They tease one of the pod racing folks, specifically Sepulba, but it's not just a pod racer. It is a just Star Wars racing game because like none of these are pod racers. So it's opening it up to be like, oh, it's pod racers in every. Oh, for fuck's sake. Did it? Okay, okay, I just dropped a little bit of frameage. Okay. When you said that, I'm like, oh no. And then I looked down and I see I only dropped 32 frames. And I'm like, okay, whew. Hooray. But yeah, none of these are pod racers, so it's just a Star Wars racing game that will have pod racers in it, I assume. But it will have other vehicles as well, so that's kind of neat. Final Fantasy Zero. Pragmata continues to get a trailer and gets an amiibo out of nowhere. Like, small child is getting amiibo, and I go, okay. If you're bringing up Old Republic, I assume it's somewhere down this list. I haven't hit that yet. Ganga Dragon is from one of the RGG's folks. Specifically just one of their heads has departed and made a new studio and just making Yakuza game, and I go, alright, cool. I mean, if you say one of them is Eclipse, I'm afraid to tell you that it's probably dead, so it doesn't matter. High Guard, which is what ended the show, which was a mistake. I mean, if you enjoy Yakuza games, it's one of the Yakuza folk, or one of the RGG folks is running the studio that is making that game, so it's gonna probably be a Yakuza style game. So hooray! Total War Warhammer 40k, which is they should have just called it Total Warhammer 40k. Just take this war out and just be Total Warhammer 40k. That would have been more. That would work better. Invincible Versus. I know Total War is a franchise. I'm saying work it into the name. Like, work it into the name. Use it as a part of a pun. Ace Combat 8 is a thing. I didn't realize it was an Ace Combat because it had all these first-person segments of just walking around and talking, and then it showed the flight stuff, and it's like, here's a new Ace Combat, and I go, I'm sure happy for, like, all 20 some-odd Ace Combat fans that are out there, because y'all don't get much. When you do, you get the good stuff, I hope. Because that looks good. 007 First Light got a villain. Also, apparently Ace Combat's story is nonsense, and I go, good, gimme. I can't wait to hear how nonsense Ace Combat stories are. Yeah, Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone for Marvel Rivals next season. Elsa kind of just snuck into the trailer, so it was mostly Deadpool. I think someone said that it's not the normal Deadpool voice actor. It's technically Sayu, it sounds like, but they haven't announced who is voicing Deadpool. I don't know. It sounded like a Deadpool voice actor to me, so. Skip. I did not find out this until after the fact. I don't know if that's the last Ace Combat, but that's like the one clip I seen of people like using the one drift song as they drift a fucking fighter plane through a fucking tunnel. Amongst like other dumb things you can do in an Ace Combat game, because they're like, hey, if you're just good at Ace Combat, you can just make this plane do drifts and shit. And I go, amazing. I wish Warhawk was, or wish Tom Clancy's Hawk was this fucking good. That is the. But I didn't know that Davide Soliani, I hope I said that name right, is the one behind this Bradley the Badger game. Because I thought this looked cool. I was on board with this game, but now you say it's him behind it? Even more so. Hell yeah, let that man do work. For those that don't know, as the headline says, he did the Mario plus Rabbids games for Ubisoft, which are good video games. I know. This, next to this, makes you go, that was garbage, wasn't it? No. No, it was a fucking amazing tactics game. It is a good-ass good video game, and it deserves to be played more. Let this man work. He's got good ideas, so I'm on board with this. Stupid Never Dies was something I think I zoned out on that one. I have to rewatch it. Here's one of the ones for the pre-show that made me happy. The Free Shepherd. You are doggo. Herding sheep and weird shit's happening. This looks cool. Look at this good girl doing good work, because this is a female dog. It's because the environments are similar to how Sonic Frontiers environments are. I assume is what's reminding you of Sonic Frontiers. Is this just big open fields? Which, I mean, yeah. How else are you going to herd sheep in big open fields? Or where else are you going to herd sheep but in big open fields? Okay, yeah, that stuff too. Anything else? Did they put the Zenless trailer in? Because I wanted to talk about that for a minute. Oh yeah, Wuthering Waves had a trailer. Did they not put the Zenless trailer in? No. Okay. Let me go grab that real quick. Whee. Because there's an interesting thing to talk about with the Zenless trailer. That's like half the Zenless stuff and half just Hoyo in general. So, 1 second. Bloop. Bloop. That one off. I had second. That does not surprise me. Does cut right? No, it does not. Of course not. Never mind. Do it this way. Hold on, I'm trying to fix it. Okay. So, just to catch anybody up on who are watch this and go, what's happening in Zenless? So this is for. There's no audio because I don't have it in the correct browser to do audio. But this trailer is basically for the next patch. Because next patch we have. Let me get a good shot of her. Well, we are getting Zhao next patch. And she's been in the previous 2 patches in terms of story content, so this is the first time she'll be playable. And then we're also getting... Oh, wow. Shu Wang. Next patch as well, and the current story patch for Zenless is focused on her to kind of introduce her. No, she uses swords. Like, all the swords. Like, 1,000 swords. But then she pulls out the curse sword and fucks your day up. Oh, unfortunately, the arrow keys, because of how short this trailer is, oh, there we go. That's a little better. It's still a little bit too much, but I was hoping for something not as long as like 5 seconds, considering this trailer is only like a minute and change. But yeah, she's next patch as well, and then the kind of teaser they had at the end, which this trailer does not, cuts off before they get to it. Why? The fuck? Really? Really? You cut off before you do the... Show them off? Oh, for fuck's sakes. That's like the entire thing people would be hyped for this. Alright, I'm just gonna grab this person's reactions because I just need a still of them. Scoots, 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 scoots. Okay. So, this trio here, the Angels of Delusions, have been basically concept art for months. Like, we're talking deep into early last year is how long the concept art for the trio of these girls has existed. They are basically idols. They are the streamer idols, basically, is their whole backstory. But the 3 of them have kind of been on the back burner for a long time. I believe the green-haired one here showed up this summer for the summer patch. So it's cool that this either here. We don't know when exactly they're coming. Presumably, maybe the patch after this current patch, or this next patch. Since this next patch is fairly set. But it's cool to see the 3 of them are finally here. It's also weird because, where's the concept art? Perfect! As you can see, one of them is supposed to be a robot. Specifically, this one's supposed to be a robot. But she's not anymore. Except she still might be, because apparently this is like a disguise when they're streaming, and she's actually this. So I don't know. I don't know if they've fully committed to her just being human, or if she's still, like, a robot that can disguise herself as human. We don't know. But, what I kind of find interesting about this is I honestly wasn't expecting anything from Hoyo at Game Awards, especially not from Star Rail. Because for those that don't know, Star Rail is in a bit of a bind because they wrapped up their big Euphoria storyline this past patch. So in the last like month or so, they've wrapped up their big Euphoria storyline. We're going to move on to a new planet, which means we're moving on to basically 4.0 of Honkai Star Rail. For a while, between leaks and teases and game, we were going to a very Japanese-themed planet. I think it was supposed to be either Edo Star or Benzai Tengoku was supposed to be the name of the planet. Unfortunately, within the last like 2 weeks, tensions between China and Japan have gotten real bad. So Hoyo, a Chinese company, had to basically, from what's seemingly the case, had to basically redo where we're going next and to make it not Japanese themed. But try to keep as much content as they can because they've also extended this next patch, this 3.8 patch, because we're currently on 3.7. This 3.8 patch where we're doing a flashback to a previous planet to kind of fill in some holes and stuff, which, for reference, before anyone thinks, that was planned for months. That was not a last-minute change. They've planned this whole, like, flashback patch for months now. But, excuse me. This next patch is being extended. I think it's double the length. It might be double length because it's going to be 8 weeks, I think, instead of like 4 weeks, because I think a Star Rail patch is around 4 to 5 weeks. So they're extending it, and then they're trying to rework the stuff they have to basically go to a different planet that is not the Japanese themed one. Which is why I assumed we wouldn't see anything from Hoyo. Because I'm guessing, considering that this trailer is kind of like nothing fancy kind of trailer, this might have been what was supposed to be for Star Rail 4.0, kind of like a little teaser trailer, because if I remember right, I can look this up. They did a big teaser trailer for Penacony. Oh, wait, they did one for Amphorius. My bad. They did one for Amphorius. I didn't think they did one for Amphorius, but they did one for Amphorius. Kind of leading to Amphorius. And then... that's... am I thinking of this one? No, not that one. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn Star Rail, they did a teaser for Penacony at the Game Awards. I might be thinking of Opening Night Live for Gamescom. That ended with the reveal of Raiden, or Acheron, which was basically our May XP for Star Rail. But yeah, I would assumed it was going to be a 4.0 trailer if everything didn't happen, since everything did happen. That's not the case anymore. So they kind of pivoted to doing a quick Zenless trailer and being like, here's the Angel solution to give you something interesting to talk about. Because otherwise it's like, yeah, we kind of knew these other two characters were going to come next patch. You kind of said so already. But yeah, that's all I had to say about the Game Awards trailers and stuff that I saw. We'll get Zenless booted up and do... I think we've got one event to do. So I did this is basically a Super Robot event on my own time. But I think there's like hanging out with Zhuguang event. That I need to do. Maybe another one? It was fine. I've seen worse. Also, I should turn. Well, I've seen worse shows. I've seen worse shows this year. So it was fine. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but it also is the Game Awards through and through. So, like, if you don't like the Game Awards, guess what? This was War Game Awards. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it was like every other Game Awards that they've ever done. Really. Like, it also helps that I wasn't directly watching it. I was watching it through one of the folks I follow's restream of it. And also streaming at the same time. So I was basically not paying attention to it. And only looking up to be like, up thing? Nope. Okay. So I basically ignored 90% of the show. Which is honestly what people should just do anyway. Right. You were doing that too. Which again, I was not directly paying attention to the show. Which again, is what you should be doing for the Game Awards anyway. You were also like 2 minutes ahead of me, Devil Spidey, because every time you said something, I was like, well, I'm waiting 2 minutes.
Oh, it's you. You're quiet like a cat. Nearly gave me a heart attack. But thank goodness it's you. If anyone else saw my diary, I'd just die of embarrassment.
Your diary looks so pretty. Oh, and you've written so much. You must really love keeping track of everything.
Unlike tangible things, memories are fleeting. Even the most precious tokens can fade with time. But if I use words and photos to weave a net in my diary, I can catch those memories so time won't wash them away. For example, the day when we first met, I wrote down every little detail.
Meeting you is a memory I've really cherished too.
Hearing you say that makes me so happy. From the moment I met you, you filled my days with so many fresh experiences. If I asked you for a small
Bot, why are
favor,
you posting what we're doing tomorrow?
down, right?
Bot, are you okay?
Whatever it is.
I didn't know that was in the rotation on it.
Just tell me what you need.
I heard that to become a proxy, one must know the stars above and the lands below, be well traveled.
I mean, fair enough. He could,
me.
like, say what we're doing tonight.
I've spent
which
my
is
life training in
Destiny
the
2.
mountains, so I barely know the outside world. But you know so much. Would you show me what things are like out there and help me fill my diary with new memories?
You give me too much credit, but I can definitely be your guide. Is there any...
What do you usually do? The places you like to go, the things you enjoy? I'd like to experience...
I mean,
them
I'm not surprised by that. Okay. Here's the thing about those sorts of announcements. Those sorts of announcements are technically not for the general public. They are in for investors and for the industry at large. Like, yeah, the stocks, like the investor stuff, like, yeah. But it's also for the industry at large. It is a recruitment tool to get you to go join their studio. Because if you know they are working on this thing, you will go work for them. Okay. Thank you, Tommy. I was just like, did Elspide accidentally summon that part of it? I thought that was a command for a second, considering how specific it was. But yeah, like if you were to go to like, I don't know if you were a studio and you were putting up basically a job listing for what you're working on, you know, it's one thing to say that you're working on a third-person action adventure game. It's another thing to say you're working on an Uncharted. Those are two very different things in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, a lot of those like operative assets, like hell, the Knights of the not Knights of the Fate of the Old Republic trailer. Apparently, we're not seeing that until like, I think Jason Schreier, I think this was way more in jest than serious, but like 2030. Okay. I don't think it's actually set for 2030, but the studio that BioWare had formed only formed last year, which is basically how the Okami 2 situation is, where more or less Kamiya only just recently formed his studio and inked a deal to do Okami 2. So, like, we're not seeing that for a while, which, again, that's fine. Honestly, I've just come to expect that. Like, that sounds terrible, but I've just come to expect to see things are going to be announced, like, well before they are, like, really ready to be shown, or with no release date. That's just the normal now. I've just accepted that that's a stupid case. Which is why I say my advice to anyone watching these, if you are not someone talking about the industry on a regular basis and not super invested in the industry, is to, on no uncertain terms, forget that shit was fucking announced. Just forget it. Like, that Divinity trailer looked cool and all, but that had no release date. So you should be like, oh, that was a cool trailer, and then immediately forget about Divinity within, like, the next 24 hours. Until they have something to show for it. It is for your own sanity that stuff like that, you forget. Just forget about it. Like Star Wars Eclipse, you should have long since forgotten that that game was a thing. Because Quantic Dream has shown nothing for it, will show nothing for it, because that game is probably dead. Wonder Woman, that was a teaser at the Video Game Awards, and that was canceled within the last year. If you are not hard invested in the industry and you are not talking about the industry on a regular basis in any capacity, you should forget about it for your own sanity. Like, fair. That's fair. But also, you got to be nice to yourself on a mental front. And not expect something like this at every fucking show, because you will drive yourself insane. It is for your own health and your own sanity that you just forget about releases sometimes. Forget that these trailers existed after they come and go, and just do anything else. Think about anything else. It is for your own mental health that you do that. And I'm saying that as someone who does talk about the industry on a regular basis, who is invested in the industry at large, and does remember this bullshit. But I draw the line somewhere of just like, okay, I do not expect certain things to be here unless they happen. That is how I keep my sanity from this. I don't go into every goddamn show being like, where's my Ace Attorney? Where's my new Ace Attorney? Where's my new Fire Emblem? Where's this, that, and the other? It's been 14 years since something. Like, no, I'll drive myself fucking insane. I look at the folks who are invested in Kingdom Hearts and the Discord servers I am, and I go, who at every fucking show are like, Kingdom Hearts 4? Kingdom Hearts 4? Where's Kingdom Hearts 4? And I just look at all of them and go, you are driving yourself mad. You are driving yourself up the wall. Expecting Kingdom Hearts at every fucking show. When in reality, Square has soft rebooted themselves over the course of 3 years, and they're only 1 year into that soft reboot, and most of the stuff they're going to be outputting is smaller projects, and at best... Excuse me. At best, you will probably see 7R3 before you see Kingdom Hearts 4, because Square Enix can't develop a game without fucking taking 12 years to fucking make it. Because for some reason, nobody in that studio knows how to fucking run a project. Anywho.
Just the same old everyday stuff. But if you're interested, I'll make some plans.
I'll write down everything we do together in my diary. And since it's filled with moments we share, you can look through it whenever you like.
So... Okay, first and foremost, anything that is under Microsoft's banner has all the bullshit has Microsoft done to it. Meaning, all their people are contractors. Meaning, it takes forever for them to get a game out the door, if they can. So, when it comes to Fallout, especially Blade, yeah, no, that's not happening. Assassin's Creed, hey, guess what's happening to Ubisoft right now? They're trying to transition all their IPs to a new studio. And basically let Ubisoft itself burn to the ground. So, of course, there's nothing to show for them. Who the fuck said that? Who said... Microsoft does not get to have credit for Expedition 33. They could shut the fuck up. No. No. Xbox, you don't get credit for Expedition 33. No. No. All you fucking did was pay for the marketing on that game. You did jack shit in terms of development of that game. If you had anything to do with that game would have been out the door this year. You could shut the fuck up. Expedition 33 is not yours. You don't get to claim it. And also, just because it's on Game Pass does not make it yours either. Call of Duty's on Game Pass, and that thing underperformed like fuck. Like, bad. Call of Duty underperformed this year. Do you know how hard you have to fuck up to do that? You don't get credit for this, Microsoft. No, you have nothing to do with this game. You could shut the hell up. This is not your win. This is the biggest L you should ever take. No, under 10 million. Not 10 million, under 10 million. Which, bear in mind, is like the cost of, like, from a stream I was watching, is the cost of Jak and Daxter 2 on the PS2. Yes. Because you know how much do you know how much proper AAA games cost? Because they cost about 1,000 times that. Literally. Like, I will go pull up this fucking chart. So 1 second. Here's just Square Enix and Capcom's numbers. Seven Remake cost 209 million yen. Or 209 million yen, I believe. Million yen. Or billion yen, actually. My bad. Billion yen. Which, that is like $134 million for 7 Remake. For 7 Remake. A remake of a third of a remake of a Final Fantasy game. Dragon's Dogma cost like $674 million. Yeah, 10 million is fucking cheap in terms of the industry. That might as well be indie. If that's what the AAA budgets are that big in comparison, yeah, 10 million is fucking cheap. That is fucking indie price for something as large and as involved as Expedition 33 was. Also, I have to remember if that wording said if that was the development cost for Expedition 33 or if that was the total cost for Expedition 33. Because if it's total cost, then technically the development budget is lower than that because there's also the advertisement, the advertising cost for that, which Microsoft footed the bill on that one. Or Microsoft were the ones who paid for all that. But yeah, no, 10 million is still cheap in the grand scheme of things. So that is not a valid argument in my opinion. To be like, oh, Expedition 3 is not an indie game. Like, no, it's an indie game. Yeah, after this point, they have basically probably upgraded themselves into like a single to AA dev. More than likely off one success, which, you know, that's what basically Tim Cherry did. They upgraded themselves to like a single to AA dev. Sorry, I left the...
Is that a pharmacy? I can smell ointment in the air. I remember this scent. It's just like what my brother gave me when I patched up an injured squirrel back on Yunquay Summit.
Yeah. It might be projects. We're not sure. It's just one of the people said that, like,
Security Bureau I've heard so much about?
that, like, more is coming, I think, from Mega Man's anniversary, which is next year.
Officers are sent on dangerous missions all the time.
But yeah, the Mega Man looked good for being classic Mega Man.
In a gang, outwitting crime bosses, and making all those tough moral decisions.
Like, bear in mind, classic Mega Man's probably the least involved of the Mega Man franchises, basically. So, like, oh, hey, they finally got one out the door. Hooray! They kind of ran out of things to do with Mega Man, basically. Outside of war collections. It's like the same situation with Ace Attorney where I'm like, guys, you have to announce a new Ace Attorney. Guys, it's a fucking visual novel game. It can't be that complicated to make one of these. It can't take you 5 years to make one of these. Even in this day and age, it should take you like 2 at best to make a new Ace Attorney game.
Ooh, like that time I caught Shifu slacking off. But let's keep that between us for now. Over here, Val. Slow down. You'll trip if you're not careful. Fresh flowers. A smell like this makes me want to wag my tail. Can we stop there for a little bit?
Yeah, they're also running a make your own Robot Master for that game, which is cool. I do love that they are explicit, like, if we find out you did generative AI for this contest and you submitted it, we're sending it to hell. And you with it. We will not fuck around with this. We will dumpster your dumb ass if necessary. We will not play this game. Because they're even like, hey, we will take, like, physical, like, you know, did your 3... I think they're asking for 3 sides, like your front, your side, and your back for this, in terms of the design doc. Well, not like an actual design doc, but they're asking for, like... it was certainly a trailer that reminded me of Diablo 4. Or World of Warcraft. That's it. That's all I had. Like, this reminds me of when Blizzard does trailers for their games, because I know what Divinity looks like, and it's not this. Like, it's a cool trailer, but I'm like, this is not the gameplay of these games. I know this. I'm not sure how many new people are going to know that, but I can't wait for them to find out that this is a top-down RPG, like Baldur's Gate, basically, because I think it's also the Baldur's Gate devs. And they're like, what the fuck is this? Why? This is not the trailer. And I go, yeah, it's how all these games are. What the fuck did you think this game looked like? Look, it wasn't Secret Level 2, and I will take that. Like, it being Divinity, and just bear in mind, just Divinity. Not Divinity 3, not Divinity Subtitle. No, just Divinity. Which, to be frank, is the first time that franchise has apparently ever had that title, because they've never had just Divinity as a title. So they could probably get away with that. nope, not that one. Is this one? No. Nope, nope. Why can I find the correct flower? There it is. Okay, there we go. They had to both be dense.
One cannot help but sigh at separation, just as one cannot cease longing.
One second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, that's not the shop I wanted. That's the shop I wanted. I don't have enough for that. Of course not. No. That's rank maybe with specialists. It's 2. 1, 2. Three. Venture with 3. Hey, there we go. Yes. What about reactivate? Oh. What about Transformers Reactivate? You're not going to grind my gears about Transformers Reactivate. I'm sorry. I was not invested in that game to start with, and then seeing it dead, I'm just like, well, damn shame. Oh, well. It's like, I'm going to be honest, because someone brought it up. One of the folks I follow brought it up in their YouTube video, just like, oh yeah, we would have possibly had a live service game. And I'm like, yeah, you would have had a live service game for like a year. Because here's the thing. Here's the reality of making a live service game. Your first year is going to suck. You're going to suck for about a year. That's just the nature of being a live service game. You're going to absolutely be dog shit for a fucking full year. And if you can somehow get something going within your second year, you might live. You might get to live and keep going. But if you can't, it's not marketing. No, it's not poor to no marketing. No, it is content of the video game. That is what will suck. You will have nothing for a first year because you basically had to rush the game out the door to meet a deadline. And you have nothing for a year, basically. You have small updates, but nothing major for an entire year until 1 year later, you might, if you can, pull out a big expansion. And if it's enough, you might get to live past that first year. But if it's not, you're dead. That's the reality of a live service game because that's all of them. Yeah, it's a free-to-play it's a free-to-play multiplayer game. And it comes out in January. Like this January. Like in a month. It's free to play. So yes. It'll probably be a live service game to some degree. But it'll be a free to play multiplayer game. So yeah. I'm pretty sure the end of the trailer says exactly that, if I recall correctly. So that'll go well. Really? I ran out? If I did, I don't remember. Probably because I wasn't interested in Exodus to start with. Hey, there we go. I wanted to do that real quick. But yeah, the thing that grinded my gears about Transformers video games was everyone hopping on board of these Steam DB updates that were happening of like, oh, Transformers might get something. And I go, did you actually look? Or did you see that there was an update for the Steam page and didn't look any deeper? Because you can look deeper. Let's see, where is she at?
What a unique statue. I'll sneak a photo of it.
What, now or in the future? Because now it's probably not that many. In the future,
Looks like this convenience
probably a
store is
few.
right there. There's a shop like this near Swabian Temple, too. Ooh, does Senior Inhu know there's a plushie here that looks just like him? I can't wait to show him. Is that little doggy watching the newsstand?
Yeah, 7R3 will probably they'll probably have something. They gotta add stuff mechanics wise to kind of like make the game feel a bit fresh on the third of 3 of this remake trilogy. God, if they don't stick the lane into that game, it is gonna be tragic because so many people are gonna be upset and sad about it. I'm just gonna be like, well, M's the brinks, I guess. Oh, God. I'm gonna have to watch Maximilian Dude. I'm gonna watch his heart, like, snap in half if this game fucking fumbles its ending. That, or I'm gonna watch so many people cope and be like, no, the writing's good, I swear. No, it's fine. Everything's fine. No, the game's good. It's fine. It's fine. So much cope. Oh, my God. Do you not know what's been going on in the 7R games? Because the answer to that question is yes and no, and I have no idea at this point. Okay, so how do I try to explain this as simply as possible? So 7R1, 7 Remake, which bear in mind is only a third of the game, because it only covers you've only ever watched Advent Children? Did you at least watch the director's cut of it? So that you got a slightly better experience. I believe so. I think there's some extra stuff in the director's cut that makes that movie slightly better. Honestly, I don't know for certain. Anyway. So 7R1 is just the Midgard stuff, which is basically the start of the game, like the first third of that game. For the most part, it stays on track with Final Fantasy VII. And when divergences try to happen, these spooky ghosts come in to basically say, no, you're not allowed to do that. By the end of 7R1, the ghost got blown up, and now anything can happen. And as far as I understand from 7R2, things have stayed on track for the most part, but now there are some slight differences that might cascade into bigger changes going into 7R3. There is also multiversal nonsense going on because at the end of 7R1, since we broke fate, basically, Zack lived. I have no idea if you know who the fuck Zack even is, since you only ever watched Advent Children. Yes. Like a lot of multiversal stuff. Like, spoilers. The 7R trilogy is technically a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. Kind of. Not the blonde one. The black-haired one. The person who first owned that sword. Not Cloud. Cloud's the blonde one. The guy before him. Guy Cloud thought he was, but wasn't. Yeah, Zack's alive instead of being dead, but he's alive in another universe where everyone else is basically dead. Yeah, he had a crisis core. So yeah, that's kind of like the simplest way I can explain what the fuck's going on with 7R. It gets a lot more into the weeds than that. But yes, like that's like the crux of 7R at this point, of the 7R trilogy. Because it's also a part of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, which is basically all the Final Fantasy VII different pieces of media, which Advent Children is a part of. I was about to say, I kind of knew where this was. You didn't need to put that there, but it's fine. But yeah, there's a lot going on with 7R, which is why I'm like, they could fuck this up because they are introducing possible changes going into 7R3. It might mean something eventually. Which is again why I'm just like, they fucked this up. People are going to be mad and coping. And I, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, will just go, well, now you know what it fucking feels like. This is what it feels like after playing Kingdom Hearts fucking 3. At least for me. Aerith? No, she's dead. She's turbo dead. Oh, no. 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 It is not a normal-ass remake. There's a reason they put it in the 3 fucking video games. Dedicated years of work. No, this is like I said, this is technically a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. Technically, because of all the multiversal shit and whatnot, and Sephiroth doing the big dumb brain play things, and Aerith trying to counter them and whatnot. But yeah, no, Aerith is turbo dead. I guess spoilers for 7R2. You do get the moment of saving her, but then it's ripped away from you because Sephiroth's like, nah, that's not how this works. Nah, she's turbo dead. Sorry. You can't save her. Yeah, I also found it fun because I know at least one person I followed was like, wait, what do you mean the 7 remake is only like a third of the game? And I'm like, yeah, they kind of made that abundantly clear in the advertising. Did you miss that? Did you miss that the first of these was only like a third of that fucking video game? Because they made that abundantly clear in all the advertising and all the interviews that it was only a third of the fucking video game. Again, I point back to my comment of nobody at Square Enix knows how to fucking run a project that doesn't take the eternity fucking make. They're bad at this sometimes. Why do you think they're rebooting themselves on a company-wide scale and only basically doing smaller stuff outside of like the 2 major things they've already announced? Hell, they canceled the Kingdom Hearts game Kingdom Hearts mobile game that was ready to go. Like, it had a live beta and everything and was playable, and they canned it and chucked it.
okay? I've barely seen any movies before, so this is kinda new to me. But don't worry, I'll be fine once the movie gets going. I can't really keep anything from you, huh? You'd figure it out in no time. No, don't hurt it. Really? If you say so, I'll trust that it'll be alright. You've watched a lot of movies, so your predictions must be pretty accurate. What a relief! The puppy's safe! But honestly, I was really worried just now. Even knowing it would be saved, I couldn't help getting swept up in the story. So, it's not the destination that matters, but the sights and feelings along the way? I think you're right. Every story follows a similar structure. But each one still feels unique. Maybe that's because the life that fills them is different. Our lives are kind of like that too. We all head toward the same ending, but each of us walks a different path, totally unique to us.
When I pulled you out of that fissure, you were so scared that you wouldn't even touch a can of food. Who would have guessed I'd be counting on you so soon? Here, take the leash. This time, it's your turn to lead the way.
Just read the clock's comment in Discord and like, I think he's mixed on the Star Wars game that got announced, but he's also not wrong on how he described them, which is the fucked up part. It's like, it wasn't a Jedi game, it was an Old Republic game, but how he described those two KOTOR games is how the two Jedi games is exactly how the two KOTOR games went. So like, he's not wrong, even though he's talking about the wrong Star Wars
Find each other again?
games, basically.
You're right. In stories, those who
'Cause KOTOR 1 is really good. KOTOR 2 was an unfinished mess
found again.
that people have tried to fix and to get
Maybe that means
reasonable years later with mods and stuff, and
paths without closure
yeah.
might eventually be mended somehow. The puppy
This was
has owner
decades
will
ago.
again.
Like, this is Xbox era Star Wars. Like, that the KOTOR games are not recent games. KOTOR 1 came out on original Xbox. That is how old KOTOR is.
Surely.
I would pull up the release date, but I'm in the middle of the minigame, so. I want to say before Outcast, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look. Like I said, give me a moment when I'm outside of this minigame.
Our loss. But in this movie, I see parting
Okay.
as just another way of meeting again. The puppy and its owner didn't give up. They kept believing they'd find each other someday.
Oh, were you?
Kind of faith
Oh, you were thinking of like the current
magnetism.
Jedi Knight games, not the original Jedi Knight games. Okay.
Back together. So
No, we had original Jedi Knight games.
mysterious pull exists between humans and animals. also exists between humans. Stories about small animals always hit me right in the heart. I hope every goodbye can have a happy ending.
Okay, none of that look. Ah! Mouse got stolen. When did KOTOR come out? (2002). Or no, 2003, my bad. 2003. I can have an idea. Here's KOTOR's 1 and 2. Here is the Old Republic MMO. Here is all the Old Republic MMO expansions that have continued to this day. And then here is that remake that doesn't exist anymore because they canceled it. But I guess you can replace this with Fate of the Old Republic. Because they haven't updated this yet. I'll also point out that KOTOR 2 was not made by BioWare. I think it got shopped out to Obsidian, and they had to do a rush job on it. Yes, it's canceled. It got canned. I'm pretty sure it's been officially canned. I thought the KOTOR remake got canned. I could have sworn we talked about it. Yeah. The Eclipse game is probably canned. That's an assumption because it's Quantic fucking Dream. They can get anybody to work at that studio. I could have sworn KOTOR got canned. Or the KOTOR remake got canned. Yeah, because it's Saber Interactive doing it. And they've been back and forth forever. Yeah, because they got sold off this year. Granted, I don't know what part of Saber Interactive was supposed to be doing the KOTOR remake. I don't think they ever said. No, they didn't. Which is why I assumed it got canned, because we haven't heard of anything in forever. And usually that means the game's dead. Anywho. My point still stands. KOTOR 1, pretty good. KOTOR 2, not good. Technically, KOTOR 3 is the Old Republic, is SPOTOR. As BioWare built it, it was KOTOR's 3 through 8, basically, because of the dedicated storyline you had for each individual class. but I would not say that. So, Fate of the Old Republic, I guess, is technically KOTOR 3. But we will see how that goes. Like, it has Bioware people at the head, but like, that's not saying a whole lot. All right, last hangout with Chukwang. I have not seen the trailer. I've only seen a picture from the trailer. And the picture was Appa at the Dragon's Pass, and I'm like, as someone pointed out in the Discord, like, wait, that doesn't make sense. And I go, no. But I saw descriptions of Aang. It's like, oh, he looks older. And I go, well, yeah. It's just, again, someone pointed out in the Discord, it's been like 3 years. People age.
Everything here feels so fresh and different. Let's go check over there. Look, someone's fishing. Do you know how to fish, Belle? I feel like you're good at everything. The sea breeze carries a salty tang, so different from the mountain air, but I don't dislike it.
I believe that they did the...
Let's go up the stairs.
Is Last Airbender really considered that long?
Those seagulls are eating fries. Won't that be bad for their tummies? The fries must be from that shop. Smells amazing. Honestly, I'd love to try some. But if Senior Inu found out, he'd definitely tell me off. That lighthouse is so tall. I've read about them in books before.
Like, hang on, your description of like you're calling the original series on Nickelodeon a long show, right? I need to look at something because I'm like, that is not long in the grand scheme of things. Oh, 61 episodes. Okay, I thought it was a little bit shorter than that, but I'm like, That's not that long for like cartoons at the time. Also, it makes use of those 61 episodes. What was Danny Phantom? 53. Okay. That seems about average for Nickelodeon. Probably at the time. I know Fairly Odd Parents is stupid long. Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. It is not that bad. Like 60, like that's 61 22-minute episodes. It was 51 for Danny Phantom. Like 61's not that bad.
Aw,
Hello.
bird. You're landing on my hand? So
Hello.
friendly. Well, have you
So
ever
did
wondered
you pay attention at all to
if
the
you
Game
could
Awards
turn into
yesterday?
any animal, which
Nope.
one would you choose?
Probably the correct statement. The correct thing to have done yesterday.
No work, free food, just meow meow, and I could nap all day.
So that's your reasoning.
We got a new Mega Man on the
If you
way.
ask me, I'd want to be a fish or a bird.
Are you
No, it ain't a lie. I didn't pay attention to any of it.
Fish swim in the
I-
endless sea.
Quite frankly, I also
Above the
kind of
boundless sky.
wound up
But
off
we're
doing my
far
own
closer
thing, so I
than
just
the
had the
land
stream up
between us.
in the background.
Either of them,
So
maybe my
I
world would still
usually when I do
belong
that,
to
it's
this
muted
little
anyhow.
mountain.
Sure, we can't
Unless
fly
I see you
over
pull
rivers
something up
underwater,
that I'm like, oh,
but
I
think
want
we
to
can
hear
still
what's
find
being
our
said
own
about
paths
this.
to the sky and our own depths
I mean, we
and
got a new a new classic Mega Man on the way, and those, I don't know. That's like one of the more interesting things.
Look at it like that.
Meh.
The world of humans
It's also 2 years out,
is the
so
best of all.
extra meh.
Super meh.
Uh-huh.
Don't give me that worried look. I was just standing up here letting my thoughts wander.
It's the same visuals as Mega Man 11. Or, well, the Mega Man design's different from 11, but it's like, it's the same style as Mega Man 11.
But if I really had the chance, instead of becoming a fish or bird, I think.
And before you
I'd
ask,
be the
no,
So
Mega Man 11's not that
that
old.
weird-
sea and sky.
So that weird, might as well say 2.5D.
Yeah, it's that 2.5D style Mega Man.
That
Yeah.
way fish could swim freely in the sea, and birds could soar the
The
sky
one with the
at
double
night.
gear system.
Senior,
Look, Belle. The whole port stretches out before us from up here.
I just found it funny that they did the Okami Do treatment by playing it in with the orchestra, and no one knew what it was. But as soon as they did the like the little Mega Man jingle, I was like, "Oh, hi, Mega Man!" Before they even opened the door, because they started playing the little Mega Man jingle.
Doesn't it feel like we've borrowed a bird's eye view of the world? And maybe, just for a brief moment.
Oh, you mean Red Ash that has nothing to do with Mega Man, but everything to do with Keiji Inafune, who's in jail, I believe? Right?
Sorry.
No, Keiji
I've
Inafune's not
been
in jail. No,
rambling.
that's a different
You're
person.
probably bored
But yeah,
right
no, that
now.
Red Ash has nothing to do with Mega Man. Also, they did a Battle Network collection.
not at all.
All these collections are the only reason we've got Mega Man Classic right now.
You sound so sincere, Belle. I'll take it to heart. Time flies. It's already the last day of our little trip. Thanks to you, I filled my diary with so many. If only days like this never had to end. You'll remember this day, right? I know I will.
Are you excited for Destiny 2? To maybe it's play Final Shape in full?
Meh.
I can't wait for it to take too long and we just give up.
Oh, like we're going to.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna just reach a grinding point of it. Is like, fucking, can we just skip to the story stuff, please?
Nah, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna get just fed up with it before we get that far.
Mm-hmm.
I know it.
Oh, I'm curious about this. Has Silex ever been a character? Or has he always been basically a Glup Shido? Fair enough.
Because I'm sitting there. Dang it! I did it again. We've not touched Destiny in so long, and I still managed to hit the B button trying to hit the A.
I mean, that's better. I forgot I had it uninstalled until Monday.
I don't honestly know the answer to that one.
Fair.
Mainly because we didn't finish 3, and I almost feel like that was like a super like sub loose thread from there. The way that the I'm not even gonna say extra. The way the cutscene from the amiibo, because I really feel like that should have just been tied to there. That wasn't a good 100%. It really doesn't set anything. God, I just did it a second time. It really doesn't set up anything going forward either.
If it's the same one I saw, I didn't think so either. It was just like, oh well, we're done. Bye.
It's technically an extended cutscene that we already get in game.
Okay.
Just not to that degree. Like, you get more context out of that one than the one in game, but yeah, it's pretty much an extended one. And I'm like, that's not how Retro normally does, and now makes me realize that 5's probably not been greenlit. 4 probably became such a dumpster fire at the beginning, Nintendo's probably a little leery on going too hard with it.
I don't blame them.
I don't either. When they had to completely scrap what was originally started and restart, yeah, I don't blame them at all for being like, yeah, we're gonna hold off. I feel like what they're wanting to try to do, though, because of that cutscene, is if we do get another trilogy, he's going to be the focus of it. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if other things that lead to the ending don't get clarified in a way that it essentially negates what fan expectation is. I don't know. I don't want to say too much, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I also don't know how much of the actual ending you know of it.
I should probably just throw you the cutscene I saw.
I also found out an extremely stupid thing with the final prompt in the game. After I beat it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, one, that is clever that causes that to happen, and I kind of figured that would. 2, screw you guys for making the last checkpoint that far back. Just gonna put it that way.
Ooh, because I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's failable. Good to know. Yeah, you just can't stand around there forever.
That is failable.
Some reason
and you get punished for it hard. Okay. I didn't find out personally. I had the thought, and then afterwards I was like, I'm gonna look, because I know someone else has had the thought of, what if I don't do this?
I
And
thought
I looked, and when I saw where it took it back, I'm like, oh, oh, well, that's kind of a dick move.
I thought there might have been an alternative input if you got 100%, which is why I wasn't sure if I saw the 100% cutscene. Because I felt like, you can do another different input if you have 100%.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
Now, to my understanding, the 100% only gives the additional cutscene kind of deal.
Okay.
Granted, I can't find out about the 100% all the way anyhow because of the 2 scans. Literally 2 scans that you can only get at the beginning. And I'm like, you guys just don't want to learn from that. People really don't like that. I also found out, though, when I was looking up all the scans, that's not the only 2. You can actually still miss other scans, too. And I'm like, it's one of those that's the most punishing of the 2.
Hmm.
Or of the missable scans, but yeah. Because let's just putting that out there because I don't consider this a spoiler. You can miss 2 of the scans in the game by not scanning literally everything in the tutorial.
Oof.
You know, something that was one of the things was a staple to all 3 Prime games. So I didn't think that I needed to. The game decided otherwise, and I was like, well, that would have been good knowledge beforehand.
Also, am I streaming this?
Probably need to.
Okay.
I just looked down and noticed that my computer is not really appreciative of me having it and just OBS sitting here, so I probably don't need to try it.
Oh, we're just setting up stuff in the background. That was Spidey, don't worry. Whenever I have intermission up, 90% of the time, we're just setting up stuff in the background. You don't need to see that. I was basically just getting us to where we need to go in Destiny 2. That's fine.
Dashboard is updated. I'm going to try to get this to not want to decide to implode on me here. Come on, computer. You got this.
It sounds like, oddly, the Paper Marios do this. There needs to be a way for you to get certain scans past that no return point. Because in Paper Mario, I think at least Thousand Year Door does this. The Goomba has the ability to do a tattle, which tells you stuff about the enemies and stuff, and there's a thing for doing it on all the enemies. For all of the bosses, you can actually get the tattles that you miss in a trash bin and in like a hub area of the game.
I don't fully like that.
Yeah.
I wish the game was a little more transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was more of a case of, in that tutorial area, there is the boss of the tutorial area, which that was my own fault for not scanning that one. I think I might have, and I might have flubbed the fight, and when I went back into it, I didn't scan it again. I almost did the same thing with Silex at the end. I just happened to remember, oh, right, I do have to scan him again. I wish... Are you serious? I clicked out of the game, and now my controller's not going to work in the game? It was literally working. Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna ask.
Okay.
I wish what they would do with it would be a case of like at the end of that tutorial area, maybe even right before that boss fight, if just a prompt came up and said, "Hey, there's potentially missable stuff here. Are you sure you want to continue?"
Mhm.
Kind of like they do at the end there.
Yeah.
Just be like, "This is a point of no return. You can't come back here and get anything that you've missed. Are you sure you want to go?"
Also, apparently Casey
Just-
Hudson.
Oh, go ahead.
As Casey Hudson said on Twitter, is like, look, we're not going to take till 2030 to make this new Knights of the Old Republic game. I'm not getting any younger here. And I go, fair. I figured Jason Schreier was kind of saying it in jest. Because the entire reason, Jason Schreier is the source for people being like, oh, it's going to take till 2030 for this new KOTOR game to come out. And I'm like, he's kind of saying that in jest. Because they need people to come work at that studio, so got to advertise we're working on a KOTOR game by being explicit about it rather than being secretive about it.
Oh! I wanted to go exploring while we were waiting.
Oh, did you find something?
The game told me no. Turn around now, and I'm like,
What?
okay,
Why?
never mind. Apparently, you can't go to the other side of the bridge there.
Hang on.
I got the turn back midair.
What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Ow.
Yep, I knew you were gonna die for that, because I almost didn't make it back.
That's fucked up.
Ain't it?
Thanks, Bungie. I love how you accidentally planned, I assume, a back-to-back Bungie for year end.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I knew it. I was like, "There's no way you plan to do new Bungie, old Bungie, back to back."
No, not at all. So I was like, sure, we'll go with that. But no, am I saying that Prime 4 is bad by me saying that? No. That's the same problems that all three of the other Prime games have also. I just wish they would learn from that. People don't want to have to clear their save file and restart from scratch because they missed one scan that they can't get again. It's not as bad with the others because you can make a save before the point that you could miss the scan. So that's not too bad. But that first one, once you're out of that tutorial area, you're screwed.
It'd be nice if you could do kind of a pseudo New Game Plus that like kept the scans that you got, and so you're just looking for your new ones.
I would even be fine with that. If it kept just the scans and you had to still pick up the items and everything. Because I get they can't do a New Game Plus.
Yeah.
I get that. Because that takes the linearity out of it then.
Kind of takes the whole point out of playing the video game. Because it's like, I have the things that block. Lets me get past all the blocks.
But a New Game Plus with just scan carryover wouldn't be a bad idea. And maybe even go as far as make it to where if you play the game on like normal or casual, then the New Game Plus, where that carries over, is only for hard mode. That way it not only gives you a challenge, but it also isn't just a breeze through and it's like, oh, I just played this, I'll just speedrun it. Because what's messed up is you can get all the items. There's no point where you can't go back and go get all the items. I debated on if I wanted to do that before finishing the game, and I was like, no.
Not ready to
Wait, what? I can't go over there either?
For
Huh?
fuck's sakes, Butchie.
Did we end out of like a mission and it just spawned us in this one area?
No, because we have a mission to do right here.
Because I could have swore we just came out of that building right there when we finished the last mission.
We might have.
But it will not let me even go back towards it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm good to start.
All right,
I'm
I will.
just jumping around at the moment.
All right, I will take the stream down. We'll be right back with Destiny 2 here in a second, folks.